Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on a match played between Nalra and TheStC as part of the on GnH Proleague, and this matchup is played between clan KTF and STX Seoul, and it's actually being played on Nemesis. Nalra is one of the greatest Protoss players of all time, one of the greatest StarCraft players of all time, but has had an unfortunate run of late. He has lost quite a lot of games in rapid succession and hasn't really looked to be the enigmatic player that we know him of late. He lost quite emphatically to July Zerg, where his strategy was unfortunately decidedly uninspiring, where he tried consecutive 2-gate rush builds and they failed miserably, and he was out of the MSL because of that. He's also been losing consistently in the Pro League, and he just seems to be lacking a lot of confidence right now. But Nalra really stung by that maneuver from Boxer when he was rushed earlier on in the Pro League, and Boxer really started a wave of game-changing strategies with that rush, because so many players have used it since then. A result of that is now that Protoss players are having to scout very early, especially on a map such as Nemesis. And it did look like the STC was going to block off his ramp with those with that supply depot and those SCVs. But Nalra has sent that probot to scout very early and has spotted it. He's actually stopping the STC from putting a barracks down. And brilliant play by Nalra. He slowed STC's first barracks being put down by a huge amount and has given himself a definitive advantage very early on in the game here. Nalra just at the Nalra just at the 11 o'clock position and the STC at the 7 o'clock position, and the STC, I wouldn't have been surprised if the STC was trying to go for some sort of a rush build, but Nalra has gone for the fast expand. So Nalra has taken that first Nexus, but I don't think he'll be too worried about it, because he has had that probe in STC's base and he knows exactly what the STC is doing, and the STC now going for that refinery. So the STC is teching up, Nalra going for the fast expand, so that's going to mean that the longer the game goes on, the more of an advantage Nalra is going to have in this game, and it'll be interesting to see what the STC can come up with. He's definitely been slowed down a little bit, and Nalra has that scout inside his base. The STC has yet to scout. He hasn't sent an SCV out yet, so he doesn't know exactly what Nalra is doing, and Nalra just microing that probe excellently in the STC's base. And Nalra is now setting up a force, so Nalra looks like he's actually going to be setting up a defense. So Nalra bunkering down for a longish game here. The STC trying to get up that ramp to scout Nalra's base and not being allowed to do so by Nalra. Brilliant by Nalra using 2 drones to block that ramp. And the STC, the one problem with Terrans is that they can't micro their SCVs around to try and damage enemy units the way Protoss or Zerg players can, because their SCVs do not self-regenerate, whereas the Protoss drones shields will self-regenerate, and also the Zerg drone, the Protoss probes shields will self-regenerate, and the Zerg drone health regenerates by itself as well. So in that respect, the Protoss are at a slight disadvantage, but Nalra has blocked the ramp and denied the scout to the STC. The STC doesn't know what's coming, and Nalra now setting up that photon cannon. So Nalra is giving himself a huge advantage for later on in the game, an economic advantage, and the STC is just going forward with a Marine and an SCV to try and get up that ramp, because that ramp was blocked by a couple of probes, and Nalra is going to be forced to bring the probes, and that SCV is actually going to get up that ramp now. So the STC is going to know exactly what Nalra is doing. He's going to know that Nalra is going for a expansion, and Nalra is going for an economy build here, and Nalra might find himself in a little bit of trouble, because STC has got 2 factories building, and Nalra has gone for those photon cannons, so he might find himself in a little bit of trouble if the STC can manage to get some units inside Nalra's main. But if he cannot, then Nalra would find himself with a decided economic advantage. So the game is going to hinge on the next few minutes of play. Once those 2 factories are complete for the STC, what he can do versus Nalra, if he can inflict damage on Nalra's economy. He has been excellent in managing to get that SCV inside Nalra's base. He scouted in the correct direction from the get-go, and even though he was blocked initially, he sent a Marine up and managed to get through this. And the STC going straight for that machine shop, realizing that he has to take advantage of his tech lead. Nalra, however, isn't too far behind. He's already got 1 gateway in his cybernetics core building. He's also started up his 2nd gateway, and he's starting to reap the benefits of that extra expansion. He's now pumping drones from 2 Nexuses, and the STC is going to find it difficult to compete the longer this game drags on. He needs to inflict mortal damage on Nalra's economy as soon as possible. Nalra, though, only has 1 photon cannon. The STC, and we're just switching to the first-person view mode of Nalra here. Nalra knows that the STC has gone for that 2nd factory. I think the STC might have been wiser in perhaps going for a dropship technology to try and drop in Nalra's mate, to try and hurt him that way. But nevertheless, he hasn't gone for that, because Nalra has got defenses blocking his ramp. He has got that photon cannon up there, and he's about to be producing some units from those gateways soon. STC now just building an engineering bay in that advanced position in the middle of the map around 9 o'clock, and the purpose of that is obviously to provide some sort of scouting information, and so that he can float that engineering bay over to the effect that when he does send his siege tanks out, when he has siege mode out, if he's trying to set up a contain outside Nalra's base, then he can effectively siege by using the engineering bay to provide him line of sight. And Nalra now has his Juggernauts, so Nalra's just going to be able to walk out a little bit and pressure, but STC already has got a tank and a couple of vultures out, and Nara is going to find himself in a little bit of pressure here. I'm not sure what he has in terms of defense, and Nara is going to find himself in trouble here, and Nara might have made the wrong decision, might have been a little bit overconfident. This is one of the features of Nara's play, is that he does tend from time to time to go for very risky strategies, and when they pay off, they are absolutely beautiful when they do pay off, but when they don't, Nara tends to find himself in trouble. He does, however, have those 2 gateways. He does have that photon cannon up as well, and he can produce more photon cannons, but the STC has already got his machine shop up, he's already got his siege tech upgraded, and that tank is now laying siege to Nara's photon cannons, and Nara forced to come down with those 3 dragoons, and Nara is going to position those dragoons excellently. Brilliant micro by Nara. He's positioned those dragoons right next to that siege tank, so that siege tank can't do any damage to those dragoons. One of the siege tanks gets taken out, and Nara forced back inside the base, trying to break out, but he did do a great job of taking that one siege tank. He also picked up that SCV that was trying to build a blockade outside Nara's main, and that photon cannon firing away, and the siege tank now has taken out that photon cannon, so Nara in a little bit of trouble. You need to build another photon cannon there, but Nara needs to try and withstand the siege. STC trying to set up a contain outside Nara's base, and Nara building an alternative pylon there. Nara might be in trouble here if he loses that forge. Nara trying to push down that ramp again, but the STC's got it blocked with a couple of vultures. He has not got spider mines yet. He's also building a barracks, so the STC setting up a powerful contain outside Nara's main, and Nara will find himself down. Nara once again moves his dragoon into the range of that siege tank, but he's unable to take that siege tank around. STC repairs it. Brilliant play by STC. He's now got reinforcements arriving, and Nara, having pushed down that ramp, finds himself in trouble with no units to defend himself at all, and STC is pushing up into his main, and this looks very dire for Nara indeed. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do here to pull out the win, that economic advantage, and Nara now with his zealot and forced to bring out his probes to try and fight the STC. This is going to hurt his economy no end. Vultures are adept at killing probes. Nara manages to kill off one of the tanks. He's now got a dragoon out, but a lot of his probes have been taken out by the marines in the bunker and by the 2 vultures, and Nara in huge trouble here. His economic advantage is all but evaporated, and the STC with reinforcements pouring in. Nara, I'm not sure what he can do to come back in here. It looks like his losing streak is set to continue. Nara in huge trouble here, trying to micro those dragoons. The STC now also has spider mines that he's laying outside Nara's gateway, so Nara's units are going to find themselves in trouble the moment they pop out, and Nara's economy in tatters. He's lost a lot of probes to that attack when he tried to push down that ramp with those probes, and the STC's timing just perfect, countering Nara's fast expand strategy. And really, we've seen on this map, first from Boxer, then from I Love UUV, and now again from the STC, that fast expanding for Protoss is no longer a viable option on this map. Nara does have a Dark Templar out, but unfortunately the STC has got a turret up, so he's going to be able to see that Dark Templar. Nara manages to take out one of the siege tanks. That Dark Templar is actually out of range of the turret, so brilliant play by Nara, using those Dark Templar to great effect, and he needs to get down there. He needs to try and break this contain. The vultures are luring those Dark Templar towards the spider mines though, as well as towards the turret, so that was a little bit of a careless mistake by Nara, and now both the Dark Templars get taken out, and the STC is now positioning his units outside Nara's gateway, tightening his grip. His reinforcements continue to pour through. Nara's economy is in tatters. The STC definitely ahead at this point in the game, and Nara struggling, just fighting on, hanging on the game by the skin of his teeth, in huge difficulty here. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. I don't think there's anything he can do at this stage, but Nara refusing to relent. Another couple of Dark Templar pop out. Brilliant timing by Nara. Both Dark Templar popping at the same time, and if he can get away from that turret, he has a chance here of breaking this contain. The STC's economy is booming, however. Nara managed to take out some of the STC's units with his Dark Templar, but the STC has now got a turret built in between of those gateways as well, and that's curtains for Nara, because those Dark Templar are scouted as soon as they pop out. Nara with a zealot now. Nara is producing from 3 gateways, and that has given him a little bit of a chance in that game, and the STC brilliantly luring Nara's units towards those spider mines, and the STC continuing to push forward. Nara so far has stopped him from building up a large force, but Nara isn't going to, and Spider-Man goes off. It takes out 2 of the SCVs as well, but one of the Zealots dies, and Nara has very little now, and STC is planting himself right between those gates. He's already got that turret up, and now he's also got more spider mines, vultures, and a tank up there, so the STC pumping from 2 factories has really overwhelmed Nara before Nara could get that economic advantage working to his advantage, before Nara could establish his solid defense. Nara a little bit careless, a little bit overconfidence in his units, and paying the price for it, it would seem to me. Nara continuing to defend stoically, and that spider mine, if it goes off, is going to take out that siege tank, so Nara with a Dark Templar manages to take the siege tank out. Brilliant play by Nara. The STC however has no defense in his main. The STC is building an academy though, but Nara's economy is in tatters. The STC in his main, he's got vultures, he's got spider mines everywhere. Nara continuing to produce Dark Templar, trying to prevent STC from getting a stranglehold in his base, and Nara with that Dark Templar going into STC's main. If he can do some damage with his Dark Templar here, this is Nara's last hope. STC building an academy. Nara is in STC's main. There are no spider mines planted, there are no turrets there, and Nara might be able to do some damage to STC's economy here. Nara is going to try and pick off the SCVs. Brilliant hero play by Nara's Dark Templar. That Dark Templar needs to kill off a lot of SCVs. Is Nara's to have a chance here, but unfortunately the STC's vultures have gotten into Nara's expo, and his only surviving probes are getting taken out. Nara with no forces to defend as Nara's Dark Templar pop out. They're being killed at the ramp, so exciting play, both players in each other's main, but definitely the STC with the upper hand. Nala though continuing to pick off a lot of SCs, and Nala trying to move that Dark Templar into the middle of those probes, and Nala GG's, brilliant play by the STC. Nala loses, his losing streak continues, his lack of confidence apparent there, being a little bit overly risky in his strategy and not spot on with his timing as he usually is. Nala caught off guard with that attack, brilliant play by the STC, and what can Protoss players do to combat this new wave of turn aggression? We will have to see. This is Klazart, thanks for listening.